Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's come to my attention that you didn't learn how to do a graph in Google Sheets last year. So I thought I would take a minute and share that with you right now. First thing, of course, is you need to open a Google Sheet. So you do that from your Apps button and you'll get a page that looks like this. All the ones you've ever created will be down here. And if you want to create a new one, you come up to the blank and click Start. And you'll get this. Notice that right now it is untitled, and I'm just going to title this one Tutorial. I do that by just clicking on it and changing the name. Of course, whatever the name of whatever it is you're working on is what you should put in there. In the columns are where we're going to put the data that we've collected from our experiments. I'm going to make something up for today, and I'm going to make this one time spent studying, and I'm going to call it in minutes, and next to that I'm going to put grade on a test. Okay, and you will see that those become my two columns. Now I'm going to make some data up. I'm going to go with 15, 30, 45, and 60. So that's pretending that our student studied for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 60 minutes. And over here for their grade on their test, I am going to go with, if they studied for an hour, that they got a 100, 45 minutes they got a 90, 30 minutes they got an 80, and for 15 minutes they got a 70. So now I have some data that I've put into our spreadsheet. One of the things you'll notice is that I did not put labels on the data itself. I left them as numbers. That's important. If you put labels here, it changes the kind of graph options that you have. I did put my labels up here, minutes. Okay, grade on a test in percent. Okay. So you have to remember that as you're going about making your graph. Now, the rest of it is easy. You take your data that you put in and you highlight it using the mouse, and you insert a chart. When it first pops up, it's going to give you some options, I guess, as to what type of chart it thinks you're looking for. That does not mean that you have to accept those. And in this case, I don't want to, because this does not look like what it is that I am actually graphing. What I am interested in is most often what's known as an XY or a scatter plot of my data. And you'll notice that when I selected it down here, okay, it gave me my nice data points, all labeled in, and the graph looks okay. It put a title on here, grade on test versus time spent studying. It took and gave me my labels on my axes. It scaled my axes for me, okay, starting. And then it added a little legend over here. If you ever want to change anything in the graph, the place to go is this little tab that says Customization. So when you click it, you're going to get a menu of stuff here. It starts off with the title. I'm going to leave the title because I like it. Then the next thing it has is legend. This graph does not need a legend, so I'm going to click on my options and I'm going to take it out. And you'll see that it disappeared from over here. It's not there anymore. The rest of the things in here I can keep. If I want to, I can change the horizontal or the vertical axis. I can change the labels, and I can change the data itself. For example, let's say I didn't want this to start at 60, and I wanted it to go from 0 to 100%. Then what I would do is I would come over and make sure I was working on my left vertical axis. I would come down here and I would say I want my minimum to be 0 and my maximum to be 100. And you'll notice as soon as I did that, my chart changed over here and I was all set. I can change my grid lines as well. Do I want major or minor and how many? So let's say I add a few grid lines. It'll add them in for me. And I can do the same thing on my horizontal axis. I can change those to the maximum number. And now I have all the different grid lines that show my chart. When I click Insert, it'll take the chart, put it right into my spreadsheet, and now I can either leave it there and use it from there, or I can copy it and paste it into a Google Doc, which is what you were asked to do in this assignment. So I paste it there, and the graph will appear in my doc in just a couple of moments. There you go. You can use this for making any Google graphs you want.